Hey guys, ChaPow here, back with another Destiny 2 video for you guys. Now this is going to be a very different video. I've never made a video like this before, but it's basically going to be an exotic ideas video on a few exotics that I've just basically made up, and I thought, these sound pretty cool, why not just make a video about them. Now, not all of these are exotic weapons, because there isn't only exotic weapons and armor pieces in the game anymore. There are like exotic ships and sparrows and emotes and stuff like that, so there are a few of those on here. But without further ado, let's just get right into some of the exotics that I basically just made up. Alright guys, and the first weapon I've come up with is a kinetic scout rifle, and its exotic perk is called Trigger Finger. Now I haven't made up the names of any of these weapons or anything like that because I'm not really great at naming things, but it's called Trigger Finger is the exotic perk. And the description reads, because I've written descriptions for these because I'm high quality me, the player can shoot this weapon as fast as they can or as slow as they want. The faster the weapon is fired, the less damage per shot. The slower it's fired, more damage per shot. Minimum limit of fire rate, 60 RPM. So this basically means that your damage will not increase, so you will not get basically infinite damage if you're doing like one shot every second. So once you start shooting, that's when the whole RPM timer starts going. So basically, you can shoot 1 second later, shoot 1 second later, shoot, and that'll be the maximum amount of damage you can do per shot with this scout rifle. Or if you have a rapid trigger finger, you can literally just spam the fuck out of this and fire as fast as you want. This would be useful, say like your teammates just got someone really weak in PvP, they start running away, you can just basically trigger finger the fuck out of them just to get that last little bit of chip damage. And on the other hand, the slow shot would be really good, because if you're in a 1v1 with someone, you can do a shit ton of damage and basically kill them in 2 seconds or 1 second even, because it would be more than likely a 2-shot to a headshot, so you could actually potentially kill them in 2 shots basically, which would be pretty cool. So let's move on to the next weapon that I've come up with. The next one, guys, is an energy pulse rifle, alright, and this will do solar damage, and you'll see why in just a second. The exotic perk is called Direct Line, and the description reads, fires vibrant red laser beams which travel through enemies and ricochet off of solid barriers once. Now, this basically means, have you seen the laser guns in Star Wars? It fires beams like that, but they basically over-penetrate and go through enemies. It can go through as many enemies as possible, so if you have 4 lined up in PvP, you can go through literally every single one of them, and then it'll bounce off of walls, but only once. So this means if you have 4 people lined up perfectly, and you shot one burst directly into them, and there was a wall right behind them that was on the perfect angle so it bounced back, you could shoot straight through them, it would then bounce back all the way through them, and basically do double damage with only one burst. Now I think this would be really fucking cool. Let me know what you guys think. I just think it'd also look really cool having like visual bullets, not like projectiles though, but like you can see them for just a very short amount of time. You can actually see them like traveling and bouncing back, a little bit like the hard light, only it's a pulse rifle, not an auto rifle, and it also probably won't be shit. So anyway, let's move on to the next thing that I have in mind. And the third and final exotic weapon that I've come up with is a grenade launcher, and it's called Mind Your Step. The exotic perk's called Mind Your Step, and grenades fired stick and become trip mines. So once you fire it, it sticks to the floor, and then it becomes a trip mine of sorts. Stick to enemies as well, which is pretty cool, and any untriggered mines detonate on reload. Now those three, all separate things, could make this weapon very fun to use. Now, if you fire them and they become a trip mine, in game modes like Control or Countdown, this could be absolutely disgusting, because you could just surround the flag, and as soon as an enemy goes onto it, it just detonates all at once and kills them. Now I'm not saying these would be a one hit as a trip mine form. They will not one hit someone or just detonate and kill them instantly in one hit form. They should do a modest amount of damage, something like 60 or 70 or somewhere between there. A decent amount of damage, but not OP, because if it was a one hit just as a trip mine, it would be very OP, and it'd need to be balanced, and basically, you know, it'd have to go down to about the amount that I've said. However, when you fire it and it sticks to an enemy, it will detonate instantly, or pretty much instantly, like the Destiny 1 Year 1 Hunter trip mines, which were infuriating because they just literally throw them at you, and then you die instantly because they sort of like roll off your body awkwardly, and then they just blow you up instantly. I don't know if it was because the impact damage did it, or it was somewhat weird like that. But basically, because it's a power weapon, it needs to be a one-hit in PvP if you hit someone directly with it, because it's a grenade launcher and they're quite hard to hit anyway. So if you fire it and it hits your enemy, it will kill them instantly, obviously, because it's a grenade launcher. And then any untriggered mines detonate on reload. Now, this would be really, really fun to get, like, random kills, like, out of nowhere. Like, say your teammates just made someone, or say you've just made someone go to, like, 49 health, and they're running away, and you know they're going down a little alleyway that has one of your trip mines in it, so you quickly change to your power weapon, reload it, boom, they're dead. That would be really, really cool and really, really fun to use. It'd also be quite fun for, say, big bosses. You just fire all of your trip mines onto that boss, reload, and then all of a sudden, all of the bombs just detonate. Now, if you didn't have any ammo left to reload, then they would just detonate, because obviously it needs to be, you know, it needs to actually prong that step of the perk. Now, that is all of the weapons exotics that I've made up, but let's move on to a few non-weapon exotics. Next up, guys, now I'm going to try to keep this short because there's not really much to say about it, because it's an exotic sparrow, and basically if you've ever driven a sparrow, then you know when you're riding it, if you press L2, you boost, but you have this little cube thing in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen that tells you how much boost you've got left, and every time you press L2 or one of the bumpers, it takes quite a big chunk out of your boost. Now, if you're someone like me who likes to take corners really, really well and feel like a pro and feel like you're doing SRL every single week, every single time you're on your sparrow, then you'll know that you don't really get a lot of nudges to the side. But they are quite fun to use because it means you can take corners absolutely sweet and you can shag that apex, basically. That's how good you can take the corners. Now, this will be very, very helpful just for my, like, day-to-day sparrow riding experience. That sounds really fucking stupid to anyone who doesn't know Destiny, but basically my day-to-day sparrow riding experience would be improved by an exotic sparrow where boost regens even whilst you're boosting. Now, it won't be instant, it won't be as soon as you press it, it boosts, it'd probably be like a 3-second cooldown, and then it'd start regenning the chunk, and then you could go, and then I just think it'd be pretty cool. Now, obviously, this couldn't be used in SRL, because as I say, you would take corners way too fucking good constantly, and it would just be very, very annoying, and everyone would just use that sparrow. But then again, in SRL, you do get to choose your sparrow, but this one wouldn't be allowed, because it'd just make SR. They would figure it out, and by they I mean Bungie. They would figure it out when they have to cross that path. But let's move on to the final set of exotics. There's a little cheeky sneak peek. Final set of exotics that I've come up with. And finally, we have got the set of exotics that I've said. Now, these would have a very, 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 very small impact on the game, but I would really like it. Now, this is a feature in Destiny 1 and 2 that I always totally forget about. You guys might have not even known that you could actually do this in a game, or if you remember, then you might just have forgotten that you can actually do them. But you can do emotes on your sparrow. I never use these. I never, ever, ever use these features. Now, basically, when you're on the floor, it basically just signals left, signals right, signals forward, or, like, puts his fist up when you press backwards to, like, signal stop or hold up or slow down or something. Now, these are pretty shit, and I don't really like them, but there are ones that you can do whilst your sparrow is in midair, say if you just go over a jump, and basically what this does is your guardian either kicks out to the left, kicks out to the right, depending on which one you press. He either does a Superman thing on the handlebars, or he just, like, stands up at the front and does, like, a Titanic thing, where, like, he stands like a crucifix sort of thing. Now, they're alright, but I never use them, but I think if you got these ones, like the set of 4 exotics, it would make them a lot fucking cooler, and I myself would use them pretty much all the time I'm in midair on a sparrow, because these are really, really cool if they work out as well in my head as they would in practice. Now, basically what you do is, when you press left or right, your guardian does a barrel roll. He doesn't do a barrel roll with the sparrow, he does a barrel roll separate from the sparrow. So basically, you, yourself, you'll go into the Superman position, and then you'll put, like, your left hand on the left handlebar if you want to do a left barrel, on the right handlebar if you want to do a left barrel roll, and then you'll sort of twist your body, grab onto the right handlebars respectively, and then sit yourself back down, and vice versa for the right hand side. So they would be pretty cool, you know, just a barrel roll yourself by a guardian, but obviously they have to be similar, so they can't really be fucking crazy. But the front and back ones can be their own separate things. Now, when you press forward on this. You would go into the Superman position again, but only briefly. You'd go into that position, you would pull yourself forward, sort of like a pull-up sort of thing, on the handlebars. You would then rotate your head forward, and because the Sparrow's going fast and you've pulled yourself forward with some momentum, you would perfectly weight it so that as the Sparrow's flying underneath you, you do a front flip and land seated in your Sparrow again. That would be fucking sick. Like, if you're telling me that you could literally watch someone jump over your head from a massive jump on a Sparrow, do that front flip shit, and then land perfectly on his Sparrow, you wouldn't be impressed. I would be so fucking impressed, and I would use this all the fucking time, and I think it'd be really, really cool. But my favourite one is the backwards one, so when you press down on the D-pad. Now what your Guardian does for this is he has both his hands and his feet on the handlebars, and he's sort of like stood up on him, and he's holding the handlebars for his balance. And then what he does is he jumps, does a back handspring with his hands, he catches onto the seat and then pulls himself back into the seated position. So he does like a back handspring off the handlebars of a moving Sparrow in midair, does a back handspring, lands perfectly in the seated position. If these were in the game, I would use these all the fucking time. I think that would probably be one of my favourite things. Right now, my favourite thing is sort of like going into the tower and doing the floor is lava challenge and then sitting and watching YouTube for 15 minutes. But genuinely, I would probably go into public spaces, fly around, find jumps, and then just do these tricks over and over again, because I would fucking think they were so cool. Anyway guys, that is the end of the video, and if you have enjoyed this video, then please press that like button and that subscribe button, and go do the same to the rest of the ChaPow, because their names will be in the description down below. Also, go check out Phantom's name will also be in that description down below, and I will see you guys next time, and goodbye.